We have Ryan Salunga playing Jund mid-range. A little bit different than the version we saw on camera earlier today, although he is also with playing a couple copies of Olivia Eldarin. He has 1 Wolfear Silverheart, 4 main deck copies of Vampire Nighthawk. So definitely metagaming for other green decks. Hummaster, Thragtusk, you know, Mizzy Mortars, Rakdos Return, some Garrix. Nothing out of the ordinary, but...
So, Cory's got 4 bonfires. How many bonfires over in Ryan's deck? 0?
0.
I like Ryan in this matchup. Who do you like?
I also like Ryan. His spot removal is going to be way more effective against the Naya creature base than when we saw...
Oh, but Cory started on 6 and Ryan started on 5, so that could affect things.
So, Farseek from Cory. But yeah, I think basically Ryan's removal package is much more effective against Naya that's playing basically a bunch of killable creatures, as opposed to zombies where it's a bunch of haste, undying, all stuff that the 1-for-1 removal struggles against.
Both these guys are topping up on Thundermaw Hellkite, right?
Yeah.
But I mean,
and Wolfear Silverheart in the Salunga also has.
Vampire Nighthawk is such a terror for the mid-range green decks if they don't get it under control. And Cory's only real removal spell is Bonfire the Dam, which, to be fair, can be really fantastic. But
and there is a Vampire Nighthawk.
I love that guy.
It is awesome definitely awesome against Naya. I mean, he has no Searing Spears, no clean way to kill it besides Bonfire, so that card's just going to be...
Even if he had just ripped a Bonfire here, he wouldn't even been able to kill it.
Yeah. So it's going to give him a lot of ability. There's an Avacyn's Pilgrim. Sorry about the glare there, but Cory has a random allotment of some dual lands. He has all of his colors accounted for. He has a Crag, a Temple Garden, and a Clifftop Retreat, so there was some glare there, but he can basically cast everything at this point.
Ryan, 2 points to up his Blood Crypt. Is it going to be Olivia? Yep.
There's an Olivia, another... I mean, these threats are... We could really use a Bonfire right now. We could get it for 3 and clear all this out, but both of these cards are nightmarish for...
It's funny, like, Cory's like peering over to read the text on Olivia. I was hanging out with a new player recently, and she'd gone like 5-3 her first tournament was Pizza Cube, went 5-3. Second tournament went 6-2. It's like already batting sweet. I mean, she's been trained mono by Grand Prix and Pro Tour champions, but real good. And she's like telling me like, oh, why don't people play Pack Rat and Standard? You know, like everything, the worst thing in the world that she can imagine is a Pack Rat. I'm like, you know, whatever you want, blah blah blah. I'm like, just look at this, and I showed her a Restoration Angel, and she's like, how is this even a card?
Yeah.
I think that's what Cory must have been thinking while he was reading.
Yeah, how is this real?
Olivia Eldarin.
How could this be happening to me? On camera, possibly friends and family watching, and now this happens.
You call up your sister like, oh, I'm going to be on TV-ish.
So there's a Farseek there, and just a passing of the turn. So
there's going to be a dead Pilgrim in a second.
Yeah, Olivia's going to do some real damage here, especially if Cory's log jammed on land drops. I mean, he has to be able to cast his 5s to get anywhere in the game. There's a Rakdos Key Rune, and I assume we're just going to finish off the Pilgrim.
Yep. I like that all right. So even if Cory rips Bonfire here, you can only Bonfire for 3 as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
So this is actually an actual problem I've had multiple times in testing. Getting your Olivia too big so it gets killed by Selesnya Charm.
It's a tough problem to have. I've mowed down so many creatures for free that now they have a removal spell that kind of works.
Look, it's happened, and it's happened to me, and I didn't like it.
Alright, so here's a Thundermaw. And you can see, I mean, this is another spot where Vampire Nighthawk is awesome. Not only is it giving Ryan some cushion, but if things ever get too bad, he can just hang back on D and trade.
He can't block either one of these creatures, right? Olivia's going to chomp the hell out of it if they ever rumble, then like Nighthawk has a little Death Touch, little lifelink.
The Naya deck is basically just a good draft deck, and if you've ever seen Vampire Nighthawk and work in draft, you know that thing's really hard to beat.
First pick overall, right? And what's the name of it? Like, not Winston draft, what's the Rotisserie draft? You take that one first, right?
Oh yeah.
Whole set. Oh wow.
We're
Ryan
getting busy.
No interest in small game.
Yeah.
So 2, 5, and then 4 from Olivia's 9. 9. He's like wondering if well, does he have Pillar of Flame in his deck? He has Pillar
No.
of Flame in his hand.
Oh,
He
yeah,
does.
it's 3 pillars. 3
Yeah,
pillars.
he could put him to 2 here and then Pillar to Death if he has it. Oh, he has bonus Olivia in his hand in case it gets killed, right? Looks like it.
Yeah.
So, what gets Cory out of this? He's going to 3, something like that?
Yeah, he's not the cards that are in his deck.
Yeah, like Bonfire doesn't even save him. He has to leave back Thundermaw.
Yeah, because the key rune is also another issue here.
And wasn't a Bonfire anyway. So Ryan mulled a 5.
Yeah, no problems here.
Big game.
I mean, Vampire Nighthawk is worth 2 cards probably out of Cory's deck, and Olivia is worth potentially infinite, no end of cards.
I love Vampire Knight. I actually like it against the red aggro decks. If they don't have it, specifically the card Searing Spear, often is a 2-for-1, and it's just exactly sized to like beat up on guys like Gravecrawler and not Sheriff's Messenger. What's the other 2/2? Diagraph Pool.
Yeah, cool. Reckless Wave, though, you would get to trade. That would just be a trade. And then life goes on.
So, hand extended. What do you think about that? Extending the hand at like game 1. Like they might do like a jerkwad thing like in the next game. I'm like, man, I shook his hand.
I mean, it's one of those things where I never feel like anyone's ever offering me a handshake with any sort of ill intention. So my opponent offering me a handshake after they've lost game 1 is sort of like, it's a little weird because we have 1, maybe 2 games left to play. Very likely I can lose this match still. But there's no malice. So for me, with a lot of that stuff, the GGing or whatever, a lot of it is just intent. And if someone's not doing anything malicious or rude on purpose, I'm very willing to just not. I don't care about that kind of stuff. It's just people get way too much, get hung up too much on that kind of decorum. Where a lot of people come from other competitive backgrounds, like sports, where just shaking hands after something like that is that's just what you do, So it's just nothing that's ever caused me to lose any sleep. That's for sure.
So what do we got here? Cory Bagozzi, Angel of Serenity, probably not, right?
I mean, you have to assume it's for. If it's not for a slow creature deck with some removal, what other matchup would you want it for? It seems like if you had Angel of Serenity in your sideboard, it's about as good of a spot as it can be.
Maybe. Pillar of Flame, what do you think? Stinky. Rest in peace. Stinky. Garrick, either Garrick brother? Good?
On board.
Okay. I think not enough initiative in this deck for Gazelle's Conscripts.
Yeah, it's tough.
So you think 5 in? 7 in?
Yeah.
7 in for who? Is Huntmaster a low? Huntmaster actually a pretty low power card in this matchup, right?
I think Smiter stinks. Your opponent's just gonna have. They're gonna have some number of just 1-for-1 spell removal spells.
Oh, I mean like Vampire Nighthawk dances around Smiter.
Yeah, Smiter is just. Even not seeing those cards, whenever I would see a Jund deck, I would just assume there's just some Dreadbores or some whatever, just random spot removal. I think you need threats that are more durable than that. That's why I like the Angels and the Planeswalkers.
But he has no cheatsy Angel. His Angel is Fairsies. How's he gonna get there?
It's not. I mean, you mean how's he gonna cast it, or how goes?
Yeah, I mean like the worst case is like you Angel them. It took you a million years to get to Angel. It was clogging your hand for a bunch of turns, and they just like ship a Dreadbore at it, and then they get all their guys back.
Well, I think you want it. I would want to play it more as a way to just get your own guys back.
Like get your own Thrag Tusks down.
You're going to be slogging through so much removal in theory. On the other side of it here, Ryan has 4 copies of Liliana of the Veil, which seem just awesome.
Yeah, like
totally
especially against Smiter if he doesn't accidentally make him discard.
Yep. And he has another Olivia Voldaren he can bring in. So those are the cards I'm a fan of. So yeah, plenty of more action for Ryan to bring in. Just some, you want to make sure your removal is sort of situational, able to hit the right stuff, and
just let me get a roast beef.
Edicts backed up by other removal spells is definitely a recipe to be able to cover all your bases.
I like Liliana a lot. Liliana and Olivia together. I like them together.
They are a combo.
You wouldn't want Underworld connections, right?
No.
Like Cory's deck isn't that fast in this matchup, but it's fast enough that you don't want to just hand him life points, right?
Yeah, and you know the games, you're going to be the one under duress, right? Like you're going to be the one being attacked in this matchup. So.
Sure.
Looks like Cory is keeping his 7.
Ryan's like, I only needed 5 last time.
Yeah, I mean I think he's very well set up for this matchup. He can afford to be a little more aggressive with his mulligans.
So what's different and better about this kind of Jund than maybe some other Junds that we've looked at earlier, even just today? You think it's like Nighthawk and Olivia?
Yeah, and
it's just like creature orientation?
Yeah, he's just much more get on the board and kill stuff rather than try to actually grind the whole game down under removal. It's just too hard to do that, I think.
And then you have like these multi-dimensional threats like Olivia that actually do multiple things.
Yes, right. So Cody starting off with some acceleration here, a Pilgrim on turn 1 and a Farseek on turn 2. So definitely ready to deploy some of his bigger threats.
Yeah, he could easily Thundermaw next turn, right?
Yep. I believe he does have Thundermaw in hand.
Ryan hopefully has a Pillar of Flame in hand, right?
Well, yeah. There it is.
Yep. Ting. So, but you liked Huntmaster of the Fells for Cory, right?
I think it's okay. It's definitely cuttable, but there it is.
Actually, it could be a problem for Ryan. He doesn't have a spell this turn. Could be a big problem quickly.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll probably play a Nighthawk or something.
Nighthawk would be about as good as it gets.
And there
Sure.
it is.
Pretty good right now.
But, you know, Cory can... There's no question. If Cory has a Thunder My Hawkite, he's going to cast it. There's no passing for the
Oh, yeah.
for the
You're not even
werewolf.
killing the Nighthawk, so...
I mean, in fact, you play it, it taps down the Nighthawk, and you get in for 9.
Yeah. You get in for quite a bit.
Is that 5th land?
Yeah.
You paid it up, yep. This could be an even more lopsided game than game 1 in a second.
Yeah. I mean, Ryan's got a lot of... So, Thundermaw and in.
So 9 in, that puts Ryan basically to dead next turn if...
Yeah, he doesn't need much. I mean, even his own Huntmaster here would do. And then the board's stabilized, you know?
No, he still has... Oh, yeah, he just leaves back the Nighthawk.
Yeah.
Thundermaw. Okay, I'd buy that.
I mean, yeah, he's under a ton of pressure, but there's not... He doesn't need a ton here to actually be able to settle the board down.
Do these decks really have 4 Thragtusk and then 3 or 4 Thundermaw Hellkites?
Yeah, they play a lot of mana, man.
They are of a different school
Yeah.
than we probably come from. That's a lot of 5s.
Well, once you have Wolf Run in the deck, you have a lot of hedges against flooding out. So
Yeah.
it's just, why not play all the heavy hitters at that point?
I mean, no one's questioning. Those guys are all sweet.
Yeah. All right, let's see what Ryan's got here.
Probably Huntmaster, like you said.
Yep. There's Huntmaster.
So the way it works is if you pass, then you win the Huntmaster fight, right?
If you pass, theirs goes on the stack first, then yours goes on the stack?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you kill their guy, and their guy never flips.
Correct. Yeah, it has to do with who's the active player.
Yeah. So Ryan needs to have a Searing Spear or the equivalent in his hand. Does he have that kind of card in his deck?
No, another Thunderball would be...
No, Ryan.
Oh,
he's
Ryan.
gonna lose this. He's gonna lose the Huntmaster fight if Cory just passes.
Yes.
And then the game becomes lopsided because he'll take out Ryan's Huntmaster of the Fells, deal 2 to him.
All right, looks like we're trading off here.
I think that's a little impatient. What do you think?
I'm not a huge fan of it when you have more Thundermaws in your deck.
Okay.
There's no guarantee that Vampire Nighthawk is allowed to block at some later point in the game. So
I agree. I don't like that trick because if you look at it from Ryan's perspective, he would he's jumping cartwheels to make that trade. If he'd be that happy to make that trade, then you probably shouldn't have offered it, right?
Yeah, and the presence of those two cards, of both Thundermaw, Hellkite, and Bonfire of the Damned, means I would be loath to be trading.
Yeah. So, wait, what's going on?
He still gets to target with the Huntmaster.
But it never flips, so it doesn't actually kill.
Oh,
anything.
okay.
I think that Jesse.
Oh,
I
it's
think
trigger.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I think that the table judge, it never flipped. They're explaining the stack. Ryan maybe has never been in the Huntmaster position.
Sure.
Because, I mean, maybe you have to play that, but if you don't have an instant, I'm pretty loath to put my Huntmaster to that spot.
Yeah.
Because, like, this is exactly what is likely to happen, and he has to have a real solution to that Ravager of the Fells.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, actually, it won't kill it.
Yeah.
It never flipped. Yes, this is their discussion they're having. I think.
This is the sort of the nuances. Basically, you want it to not be your turn when the two Huntmasters flip.
Did you play a lot of Astral Slide?
Yes.
Astral Slide and Lightning Rift? That was such bookkeeping, you know, whose flipping went. Yes, it was targeted. It will not die. That's not how it works.
Yeah, this is some nuances of the stack stuff here, but
you are allowed to untap your lands, Ryan. Wait.
yeah, it doesn't flip when it doesn't just automatically flip.
Yes,
There's a trigger that occurs, and then there's
the other one goes on the stack. The other one goes on the stack, resolves, kills the first one. First one never flips, so it doesn't kill anybody.
Yeah. So we're just getting this sorted out.
Yes, life is unfair.
Yeah. That's the play that Cory made last turn is a very, I think it's a common, like logical error that occurs where you're just, well, my Thundermaw Hellkite it's going to trade with this Nighthawk eventually anyway. So why not just do it now? And it's, well, you have other cards in your deck that might actually prevent that trade.
Yeah, or you could just like flip over Bonfire of the Damned, sweep the Nighthawk out of the way, and like hit him for 9.
Yeah. Just now the value of your Bonfire has gone down dramatically because you allowed him to trade that Nighthawk for one of your Thundermaw Hellkites.
I mean, and just even giving him 2 life.
Yeah.
Do we know what the dispute is going on?
So yeah, I believe the head judge is coming to sort this out.
What?
I'm gonna come back to you guys.
Okay. I mean, he could have at least untapped his lands though. His lands were still tapped from previous turn.
Sure. So yeah, the head judge is going to come over and just and sort out that dispute, but it should end up with Brian's Huntmaster dead and Ravager of the Fells on Cory's side, along with the Wolf token. That should also be there as well.
So, I mean, in that spot, did he have to? I mean, have to play the Huntmaster? I mean, I guess it kept 4 damage off the ground on the win.
It depends. I mean, if his hand's powerful enough, and getting to basically fog through that turn, plus have Cory pump the brakes on his turn, it could easily be correct for him to play the Huntmaster there. Obviously, the way that sequence works is not ideal. You're down a Huntmaster, you still have to answer that Ravager of the Fells, but depending on the power level of Ryan's hand, if he has a ton of gas, it might be worth just trading that Huntmaster for a fog.
I don't know if you noticed, but I just like went to his deck list and I'm like, does he have any Searing Spears or Murders or, because if he had like a Searing Spear, then he can respond to the flip and take out the Huntmaster of the Fells, but he doesn't have those. He has Abrupt Decay, which can't target a 4.
Yeah.
So.
None of his removal is set up to handle Huntmaster that efficiently.
So soon we will return. For now, we can. This looks to me like Cory's ahead, but it's not over yet.
But Ryan's deck has no sweepers. He doesn't have any bonfires of his own.
His Blasphemous Act. Do you think it's probably not in there?
Probably not. No, I think that's probably for humans and those sort of decks. But you could, as long as you can keep like leveraging forward, it's hard for Ryan to actually take control of the game. Like he doesn't have any big sweep to do it. He has to do it on the back of things like Thragtusk and Vampire Nighthawk, and Olivia, which just take longer to grind the game out.
Draw a card. Is it a mountain, basic?
Yes.
Mountain? What kind of basic mountain is that?
That is a Return to Ravnica basic mountain.
You know a lot about different kinds of basic mountains.
I draft a fair bit.
Could you play like one of each different art basic mountains in your deck? Like
it would drive me crazy. It would drive me crazy.
Because they don't all have a little scimitar in the bottom right corner.
Just the different art pieces. It bothers me with like if I have 4 bolts and they have different art. Like,
oh, I mean, it's operationally massively negative.
Yes.
So.
Another Hunt Master.
And then if he like pillars something or whatever, then he could flip the other guy, right?
Yes. It's not clear he would even want to do that.
Oh, he could be in the exact same pass situation the next
right.
turn.
I just double my wolves up on that Ravager.
Absolutely. But I'm sure Cory knows that that's a possible block, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you're happy to trade one of your wolves with a removal spell or something, just.
And then you get the fog out of it.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter what's in Cory's hand. If he has a trick, that's fine. If he doesn't, that's even better. Okay.
Really? If I were in that spot, I don't think I would expose my Ravager with the Fells.
I mean, unless he.
It's so valuable.
There's a Thragtusk.
Don't you want a 4/4 that can spit out dudes and gain life and kill dudes?
I'm not opposed. I could be persuaded, if that's what you're asking.
I think I would have just sent the wolf. I mean, step 1, he probably has to flip his Huntmaster because a 2/2 isn't going to beat a Thragtusk.
Yeah.
So, unless he has Olivia. If he has Olivia, fine, but unless he has Olivia, maybe Nighthawk. I think he probably just has to pass. I mean, play a land.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of other plays I think that I would
yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of passing here.
Yeah, he's behind like 11 damage, so he can take out the wolf.
Knock Cory down to 21.
Yeah, and then a trade here, like leaving the 3/3. That's actually a pretty acceptable situation. He's got cards, make up a little bit of margin on the life total. It's certainly catch-upable range. He has so much more contextually appropriate interaction.
Yeah.
I mean, other than Bonfire, which is just a beating against him.
And this is definitely the way this game is playing is why.
That's brutal.
So Celestia Charm for +2/+2 and trample. And the way that this game is playing is the reason that I would have wanted, if I was in Cory's position, to bring in Angel of Serenity. This is like the perfect game for.
Oh, he just like rebuy all of his dead men.
Yeah, it's just a big attrition fest.
That's devastating for Ryan. That could very well be the game right there.
Yeah.
He needs like Olivia to get out.
His own Thragtusk.
Is this an EOT?
No, we're on his main phase. These decks are all creatures and sorceries. No EOT shenanigans here.
No nuance to these decks.
No.
And what is it? Oh,
Nighthawk. Also
respectable. I think most players are loath to send a Thragtusk into a Nighthawk.
I don't know. He was willing to send his Thundermaw in, so Thragtusk is way better to be sending into a Nighthawk.
Fair enough. Yep. All right. Like, anytime your opponent is just so happy to make that trade, like take out your 5/3, gain 2. That cannot be the one to write home to mommy about.
Yeah, it's a little bit different there because both players have enough. There's a Smiter. Boom.
I mean, Ryan right now is thinking, man, if I had Bonfire of the Damned, it would be sweet here.
Or Thragtusk, Thundermaw, Olivia. He's got no shortage of.
Thundermaw's a little narrow here, right? I mean, he can't be attacked.
Just hang out. Just hang out for a little bit.
I like Olivia here. And it's Thragtusk? Thundermaw.
We're just gonna chill back on D, I would assume.
There's no way he's attacking, right?
Yeah.
It's 5 against 7, and he's down by 10.
It seems ambitious.
But, Cory doesn't have Selesnya Charm because he saved his Thragtusk.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Selesnya Charm would just be like derp here.
It would be, oh, he has one. Boom.
No. Oh, well. 7 you, put you to 4. He needs Olivia. Or Mizium Mortars.
Or Thragtusk, still fine.
Mizium Mortars would be the sweetest.
It would not be bad.
He's got spells, right, of some sort?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Olivia! My dear, nice to see you.
Might be a little late.
Oh yeah, he has to shoot and block the smiter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrible. 1 life point. Unless he has another Olivia. Or a Thragtusk off the top. Huntmaster keeps him alive.
Yeah, but now we're in like Bonfire plus Restoration Angel plus Thundermaw space of so many devastating draws that Cory has.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if Ryan were able to pull this one out. He's probably going to rip a Farseek. Does he have a Thragtusk?
So was that his draw?
I don't know. I think it looks like he has Thragtusk. He has something. Liliana would be fine. Nope.
Nope.
Shipping it. Don't look. You have good matchup advantage. Don't put
psych yourself
don't
out.
put yourself in the wrong
You're fine, man.
zone. I think that he's probably a little bit jarred. He didn't realize what was going to happen on when he played that.
Yeah, it's possible he had a much
I really
better
think
turn.
that he had he must have had like maybe he could have played Olivia, taken a hit, and then just like double shot the guy in response to a flip. It would have been a completely different game.
Yeah.
So we know he had an Olivia, so if he had access to it, would have been a better play that turn.
So looking back at the sideboard here, I don't think there's anything that either player would really want to swap because of like play draw considerations. Yeah, I mean, what would we have cut here out of Ryan's deck? Like the 2 copies of Abrupt Decay are pretty bad. Ratches's Return is pretty bad.
Do you think he kept? No, I think Rakshas's Return is fine. You keep Cory from being able to like sandbag value in games where he's ahead.
Yeah, I just think that you have like so much of an edge interacting on the ground, or just kind of brawling.
Oh, it's horrendous against Loxodon Spider.
Yeah, big smites.
Fine enough.
Yeah, I would just rather try to play the game to just win the slugfest. He's way better set off to battle sort of just a creatures brawling with creatures type of matchup. And Rakshas Returns is a little out of place if that's the way that if you're trying to sculpt the game.
So you have no tutoring other than Farseek, right?
Yes.
Wouldn't you rather just have the 4th Thundermaw Hellkite instead of 1 Wolfear Silverheart?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's some diminishing return / having a different surprise angle or whatever, but yeah, I think I'd rather have the Thundermaws.
Thundermaw Hellkite's so... He hits hard. When
Yes.
it's like he hits maybe like less big numbers in the bottom corner than Wolfear Silverheart, but that guy's like... He needs a buddy,
Yeah.
you know, he's got a lot of problems.
For sure.
Somebody can murder one of it. Like, like the worst is like when you have like a Silverblade Paladin or a Wolfear Silverheart, and one of them gets murdered in combat, and then the other guy gets eaten by Olivia. You know, like, oh, I have this big turn, like, block. And then you're like, oh man, wish I was just a Thundermaw Hellkite. You wouldn't have blocked me.
Yeah, I would prefer just having a 4th Thundermaw. I think the raw. I mean, Wolfear can have situations of being better, but I think for the most part those are situations where you're already kind of ahead. Whereas Thundermaw can catch you up from behind, or is also insane when you're winning and can also be insane when you're losing.
Yeah, like in the previous match we saw where Westwise had Thundermaw Hellkite and like it looked like he was losing the whole game, and then it was just Thundermaw Hellkite Bonfire.
You're dead. That's it.
Yep. What do you think about the acceleration suites here? So Ryan's got Farseek and 2 I love Rakdos Cube, and I always play 4. And Cory's got 4 Farseeks and 4 Avacyn's Pilgrims. Like, especially on the play, I think that was like really helpful for Cory last game.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Although the Pilgrim didn't end up facilitating anything, but yeah, the Farseek was awesome. The amount of mana in his deck, if I was Cory, I would definitely be playing more than 2 Wolf Runs.
Yeah?
I think the colored mana can handle it, and Wolf Run is just bananas when you have Farseek plus Avacyn's Pilgrim.
I noticed that Cory's got 4 Cavern of Souls, and Ryan has 0? Is that right? Cavern of Souls is very good. Oh! Ryan Salunga has the second turn Farseek, so if Cory doesn't match it, we could see, again, like the opposite of last game, where one player just massively has the jump on the other player.
Right. And Cory, besides Bonfire the Dam, really doesn't have any tools to break Surf. He doesn't even have Dreadbores or, Lilianas to help, kill a creature straight away.
And keeps pace. Are you going to be excited for just like straight red-greens in a couple of months?
Oh yeah, the N13 uncommon is... Ben Lundquist at the office has been talking a lot about that guy, and I think he's going to be completely bananas.
Ben Lundquist works over with you?
He's currently, we're giving him he has a little internship. He's been with us for a little while now. But yeah, he's a big advocate of the Watch Wolf with haste. Yeah. He's going to be insane, I think.
I love Benny Beatdowns.
Benny Beatdowns is insane. He's awesome. He doesn't really beat down that much. All right, so Vampire
Speaking
Nighthawk.
of beating down, for just a little bit.
Yep.
Vampire Nighthawk.
The scourge of Naya players everywhere.
And have you ever tried Rug? That guy's murder on Rug.
Yeah.
Every guy in Rug is a 2/2 for some amount of casting cost. Got 2/2s for 2, 2/2s for 3, 2/2s for 4.
Yep. So there's a Huntmaster of the Fells from Cory.
Boom. In for dose. I gotta believe that Huntmaster is gonna have something happen to him soon.
That counts. Sure. Definitely counts as something happening.
But Huntmaster's not big enough to actually put the hurt on either of those X3 creatures.
Right.
Just running the pass? These guys need an Is It Staticaster.
Something to deal the last point.
Catalyze the third point. And Cory's thinking about it, right? But I actually think that's almost like a waste of a flip, right? I'd rather just cast some spells, maybe actually get some value.
Yeah, he's got a Restoration Angel in his hand. I think he might even have a Thundermaw. I mean, he doesn't have to say go. He's got tools.
Oh, if I had a Thundermaw, I'd be in the red zone already. No?
With just Thundermaw, yeah.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't send my...
You said in the red zone, implying that, I would just be sending all my guys. It's like, I don't know, Mike. I don't think that attack would be particularly good right here. I think you would lose your Huntmaster. You'd get in 2, you'd knock him down to 20, but he's still got his Nighthawk. Like, I don't know. It's probably just not that good. I don't want to step on any toes or nothing, you know what I mean? But yes, if I Thundermaw and just attacking with that seems totally fine here.
Yes, I agree with you, Patrick. I would not send my Huntmaster of the Fells to certain death.
Yeah. Well, you do get him back down to 20, so there's... All right, so we're just going to say go.
And kills nothing.
All right, well, it does mean the Thraxus can attack, I guess.
I mean, if it's a coward. I mean, what if you throw a Pillar of Flame at the wolf? So you can send the Thraggy then.
Sure. But again, that's an exchange you're probably pretty happy with.
Resto Angel? And flip him back down? No way! How do you like that trade? I dislike that trade.
Yeah, I don't. I think it's just hard for Cory to win the game playing like this. He can't be like trading these 1-for-1s like that when he doesn't have any leverage. He's not on the front foot at all. Because Ryan's deck is just better suited to play this sort of grindy 1-for-1 game.
I mean, like, look at all that. He just gave up a mana and a trigger. Like, the purpose of that card is to make somebody big get real big, you know?
Yeah.
Or, like, steal 2 life points or something like that. Not to, like, trade with their 3-drop. So, Cory's going to need some kind of 5, I think, to get back into this game.
Yeah. I mean, 2 spells is not a bad starting point here, because then you have 2 wolves that can put one in front of a Thragtusk.
But if you're going to do that, why didn't he just flip the Huntmaster last turn? When he cast the Resto Angel, he didn't target it.
Because it comes back face down, right? Or no?
It comes back as Huntmaster that fell, produces a wolf.
Yeah. Well then, yes, that probably should have been done.
Right. I think I would have tried to do that, and then, yeah, that's just lost value. If he's going to make this sequence, and he would have had like another wolf, 2 more life points, and like a wolf, like double wolves rather, and the smiter isn't probably enough to scare off some number of Thragtusks, right?
Yeah.
Like, he pushes them all in, they're dead. And he's the only one left with a very serviceable Huntmaster that falls.
So 2 wolves, a smiter, and a Huntmaster staring down 2 Thragtusks. You have to do some amount of blocking here. Probably.
You don't have to. You take 10.
Well, you're not in a position to crack back. Yeah, I like this block.
I agree. I think that's the correct block. But the problem is, he's got a 2/2, and he just left his opponent with 2 3/3s.
Sure. Well, you can do some more finagling with Huntmaster in theory.
He needs Restoration Angel to have not been thrown away. I think still having Restoration Angel right now would have allowed him oh, well, he needs to drop Bonfire the Dam. Just need Bonfire the Dam. Is it Bonfire? Oh, I looked for a second. I was like, woo! Animated gift time. Can he hardcast Bonfire? Yes. Does he have it? No.
And it's like Thragtusk, Selesnya Charm, Thundermaw Hellkite.
He's in a really bad spot. He can't kill Olivia. He's just going to take over.
Well, he has Selesnya Charm, so after 2 activations, he can get. But yeah, he could really use Bonfire the Dam. I think they can't even really just pass now because of Olivia.
Doesn't kill anything.
Well, you would want, ideally you want to get a 4/4 to match up against the 3/3s. But he doesn't even have that line anymore.
Well, the last thing you want is for Ryan to just steal your... Because he's just going to... I mean, Ryan doesn't know if there's a Selesnya Charm, right? He's just going to put a point on the Huntmaster that falls here. Or on Thragtusk. I think I would have been more inclined to put it on Huntmaster personally.
Sure.
Because you actually want to like exploit the flip, and then you just kill Thragtusk with the free flip.
So I guess in response to the Olivia activation, are we going to Selesnya Charm on our own guy? This play would be okay if Ryan wasn't at 30-some-odd life. Like, you actually had to kill Olivia here.
I really dislike that play. Like, he needed that... Olivia's just going to annihilate him now. The Selesnya Charm was his out. He needs to draw Bonfire. So, he's going to deal 2. Nug a guy for 2. Not draw Bonfire again. Wait, did he not flip?
It was all... There was, Selesnya Charm was cast.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. So, I mean, Ryan Salunga's way ahead.
Yeah.
If if Cory doesn't draw Selesnya Charm or Bonfire, it's just over in 3 turns or so.
Yeah, and Ryan still has cards in his hand. It's not even like he's on 8. He's on cards in hand at 32. He's got a lot to play with. So I guess we're thinking about just shooting down the Huntmaster with the trigger on.
Yeah, I'm actually curious about this because Ryan could not have known that Cory was going to Selesnya Charm his own 5/3.
Yep.
Like, I actually really would have liked to put the Vampire points on Huntmaster instead of Thragtusk earlier. I thought there was a lot more upside to it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right, well,
never
we're out
mind.
from under. I mean, Cory's still in a world of trouble, but we're out from under the worst of it at least.
Ryan have gas left?
Well, he hasn't cast a spell in 3 turns, and he hasn't been making land drops when he would want to make land drops. So I assume he's got to have some action.
Thundermaw or something. I like Ryan's deck a lot. I like the configuration of the threads. He's got another Olivia, it looks like.
Or a Huntmaster, maybe?
And it is Olivia, yeah. She can't shoot herself, can she?
I would assume not.
That'd just be too sweet, like Perm's fire breathing.
Yeah, probably not. I feel like that would have come up in a game I've watched by now if that was a feature the card had.
Yeah, I don't think it's the case either. So Ryan's only 7 life points ahead. Draggy.
Now 12 points ahead.
And in for 3.
No, 4. We're going to shoot his own.
Fancy man.
Yep. So many angles.
Little fire breathing. Just draw another Bonfire. No probs. Olivia Voldaren. Ruining limited games everywhere last year in the Time Machine.
At least it's slower than some of the other insane over-the-top cards. But yeah, Olivia was bananas. I won a draft open in Vegas last year. They were my 2nd and 3rd Innistrad drafts, and the first one I picked first back to Olivia, and that was some nice training wheels to get to the 2nd draft.
Yeah. She cannot target herself.
It would be bad flavor. It'd be stupid.
I like how Falconer Aristocrat actually gets bigger by eating humans. I like that.
Right, they're delicious. All right, Avacyn's
dead pilgrim.
Yeah.
Shoot that down. Olivia goes to 5, so that's 10. I mean, the way Ryan's playing, he might as well just double shoot the Thragtusk, right?
Yeah, there's no harm. You're already in Selesnya. It can already be Selesnya
Charm. Yeah. Oh, unless he has a Thundermaw?
The Silver Heart.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, that's just egregious. It's like unnecessary.
Or too necessary.
Yeah, whatever. Resto Angel Splat. Okay, the reason I don't like this is, does he have 8?
There it is.
I mean, like, he could have just, bonfired out,
Yeah. But no bonfire to be seen, and Ryan's Jund mid-range deck 2-1 over Cory Bagozzi's Naya mid-range deck. That matchup